So, hi everyone. Let me play some music. So today is the plan to continue on .NET BSP development with neovim. I had to skip my 3D printer build series because I don't have everything ready for it. I started to print ASA with ASA filament, and it's not that easy to print as it is with PLA. And so I have to first set up some third of things before I can do that. So I had some issues with warping and so on. So yeah, I just need to prepare more stuff to continue on building the Voron 3D printer. But I'm progressing there, so I currently built a Nevermore carbon filter that I also need when I do ASAP printing. So let's see. But yeah, as I said, today we will focus again on software development, and yeah, hopefully we can proceed there. So let's open up some things here. OmniSharp and OmniSharp. Move this here like that. Wait, that's the wrong one. Yep, now. So let me see where we left off. Yeah, I was experimenting with the graph build. Because I think we had issues here when I built the solution, that we got some errors that we don't usually get when we use the .NET CLI. I experienced the same things on other projects where I used the same version of .NET BSP. Yeah, something is off there. But I didn't figure it out yet, what the issue is. So this is basically the error that we get. And I think we get the thing only when we build the solution, right? So what happens if we build only one project? Let's do the standard IO project. The driver. This is an application, HTTP driver. This is a library. Let me see. This is the actual program. when we use the LSP, and the other one is this HTTP driver. This is the old one. It is not LSP based, if I remember correctly. Skip host DLLs. Condition if we don't target the .NET full framework, then we set it to true. Yeah, let's actually build this project. So standard.io driver. This is one that we need to build. And let's see what we get on errors here. So preserve compilation context. Let's copy this stuff here. So here we didn't get the error. Strange, but when we build a solution, we get it. So let's build the host driver project. HTTP driver, I mean, HTTP driver project. So, okay, also nothing happens. It must be some project in the solution. So we can maybe just go over all of them one by one. There are many of them, right? Try this one. Also no error. What do we do here? Get loaded projects from workspace path. Target. So the problem could be just that we send the solution file directly here to the project graph. Sure if this handles it correctly. Because if we pass project, it seems to work just fine. So let's just copy this parts over and remove the condition here. Have completion context, skip house dealers. Okay, now let's try to build this one. But it recognizes all the projects just fine. Using the solution file. Targets to string. Let's just construct a graph starting from the given project files, evaluating with the provided project collection and no global properties. So let's open up some other handlers where we do parsing the solution file. And actually getting all the projects out of it. I want to change it here and try with that. So let's see, I think it's here somewhere. No, it's not there. Test handler. And then test discovery. Yeah, that's the one. This should be then just fine. Okay, let's try this. If this resolves our issue. And we can just say here in the targets here. This should be already it. PSP restart should also do it. That's it. So it seems that we had in the targets the solution file also in there, and trying to actually restore or build a solution file would result in that error that we had before. So this is basically then the solution to that issue. And 3-point nodes. What do I have here? Target list. This should be the proper one, actually. What I'm trying to do now is to get rid of this multiple builds for the same target issue here that we see. Just wait to restore. Now you see it builds like 9 times, sometimes up to 9 times the same target. And I think it's because the order in which we build the projects, but it would actually make sense to do it project nodes topologically sorted. So we build from the lowest entries of the graph kind of upwards, because the projects like at the bottom of the graph or like the parents depend on the child there. So they have to be built first. But I had it that way already before. But we still just try it out. Maybe through the other changes it will also change here. ESP restart. Strange thing is that for the restore it does not happen. Right? For the restore it's just fine, we do it just once. But for the build it changes. Maybe I just have also to pass some other configuration before I build the graph. Okay. Build manager, default build manager, begin. New version of some browser. Okay. You see, I was looking up how to build the Nevermore Micro version 5 Duo. So, okay. Stop that. Where am I? Here. You know. Default workspace. Yeah. Here we are. So I have still to read that stuff here to understand that. What's PC here? Create project. Oh, this project collection. Build manager. Okay. That's another stream. Cleaning errors when failing on internal operation. MS build stuff. Build request xmake. One thing that I want to check now is if they use somewhere this project nodes topologically sorted here in MS Build. Isolate project tests. Result cache based builds. So wait. Project graph node. Project instance build. Can we build on the graph itself? Is it possible? Doesn't seem like it. Build session. Build parameters. The build manager session. Build graph vs scenario. Project cache by vs scenario ignores solution disabled projects. Build graph vs scenario. Dictionary of project graph nodes and build result. Then we do a try. Build environment. Running tests, running in MS Build XC. Running in Visual Studio. So, okay, these are build parameters. Something like that. Reset the environment variables stored in the build params to take into account test environment changes. Build manager project cache descriptor should be empty. Then we do a graph here. Build manager project cache descriptor should have single item. VS sets this global property on every project it builds. Okay. Then we have a build manager session. Build session, then we do for each here. Build project file. The build oh. Where was I? Here. Build session. And then we go over here, over each project in the graph, and we do a build session, build project file with global properties, solution project generator, current solution configuration contents, solution configuration globally property, global property. Okay, and the build result. Okay, that's basically the same what we do. Assert build results. Project dependency, build project in solution. Solution configuration property. So I wonder just maybe some of the configurations somehow affect how this process works. Design time build. Or maybe if we use the cache with this build session stuff. Project cache descriptor. So here we can even build the whole graph. Build session, build graph. Build session logger. Where's the helper here? Virtual helper. Go back. I need to find this function for the build manager session stuff here. In this file we have stuff like this. More. Object model helpers. Logger. Actual build parameters. Shut down in proc node on build finish. Actual build parameters enable node reuse. Deferred messages. Build manager. Is this public here? It's build manager is public. So I could use the build manager actually for that. Creates a new build manager with the arbitrary distinct name. Okay, so I'd say we just stage everything here, because now it is working as it should. Then we can try this build manager. Right, build manager. So no build manager. This is in evaluation. Microsoft build evaluation. Microsoft build execution. Execution. So we do have that one. Then build manager. Build manager public. So there should be a static method, right? It's default build manager. Okay, this is actually like that. So build manager. So what do we have on the build manager itself? Build manager logger, no. Reset caches. Get project instances for build. Begin build. Deferred build messages. Build request. Convince method, submit a build request and block until the results are available. build. Submits a loan build request and blocks until results. A loan. Build project file, build project file, build graph, submission, build graph. So then build manager, build request, graph, build request. Entry targets. Or empty. So just see video build request. New graph build request with the graph. Project just graph. Targets to build. Yep. Up. We have else here, project graph, project full path, graph entry point. Okay. Nothing interesting there. So we could do this part, then need to figure out the logger, how to set the logger. Was somewhere also done here. Actual build parameters. Build parameters. Loggers. So build manager parameters. No parameters there. Begin build, actual build parameters. Deferred build messages. Message importance. So begin build is actually not beginning a build, it's just setting up. Prepares the build manager to receive build requests. That's an irritating name for this function. This would mean for me, we could set this here. So build manager, begin build, right? And then new build parameters. We define there. And some deferred build messages. Deferred build messages. Just say we have something there. Also new deferred new default. Let's search here for deferred build message stuff. Struct. Public read only struct deferred build message. Text message importance. Text message importance file path. Build message to be logged before the build begins. Okay. So that's fine. I guess we don't need that for now. Here we want loggers. And we would want to set the logger there. What do we have else there? Allow failure without error, build process environment, culture, default tool version and stuff like that. Global properties. Global. Nothing graph related. So, but we could test it with this. But we have only begin build. Like nothing for restore. Or is there a restore manager? Doesn't seem like it, right? Cache serialization, stuff like that. Build. Just searching if or how do they restore. If you're using build manager, if there is something specific for restore. Restore. So, but actually we do disable this, we do disable this, we do disable this, and we do disable this, or reset, rebuild reset, and we would lock that explicitly. And we could add start build. Then we would need to add all the targets here. If we're, because we cannot say here, but actually we could try it. Just before we do a build request, we could just log, okay, we want to build stuff here. Put it in here. Let's copy this also over, and we would just say put this back again. I would just disable the whole thing here, because it will look different here anyways. Because for the whole graph, we cannot say that we're trying to build here specific project, right? Need to say we do a whole. This is the result for the whole graph. So we say build result and just build result. Overall result. Okay, let me see. Come on, go away. Success of failure. That's an enum. So that's fine, and we would add this over result if it's built over all. We should just code like this. Let's build result code. Success. Okay, wait. Then we call this result. And we say here result. Okay. And then we say, oops, result, overall result, success. Then we add true here, else it's false. And we add this here. Start building targets. Actually, we could get target files here. Target files. Yeah, like that. So let's see if this works. Well, this would not work because we use the same name here. Call this graph build result, something like that, so that we have a distinguished name for it. Yeah, let's try this out now. Error. Here. Workspace path. Move it below here. Like this. That should work. And we have all the variables in here. So, again. Let's restart the BSP. Let's rebuild the solution. Cannot be complete because the build is already in progress. Okay. So maybe we stop this and restart. Maybe it behaves differently. No. Already in progress. Why is that? Do we have to do this after the restore? Maybe maybe somehow it affects this if we do the restore after we created the build manager. Don't know, just guessing. Not complete because builds are already in pro. Request failed. Really strange. So let's restart. Then look at the BSP console. Okay, and now try again and see what we get in the console. Loaded projects from here. We start the restore target and it does not work. Start restore target. Finish up abstraction. Invalid operation exception. The operation cannot be complete because the build is already in progress. Manage to begin build. Start restore target. So we get this one, but we don't get this restore result. Because it fails already there. So it fails here. But the build manager is just below here and only here. Oh, so targets here may be a restore. Could it be that we just would replace this part also with build manager? just doing the build here. Like this. Build. And here restore. Restart. And do I restore? Let's try this. We copy just these two things here. So let me see if this with the restart worked. We add here also the restore result. Then just say restore result. Like this. So restore result. Overall result, right? And we don't need this and this. We log start restore targets. So move this below, this above. Target files. So like this, right? And rebuild and publish. This be let's actually close new completely. So restore works. Now with build manager. So this works better, right? So it somehow checks then if things are already built, like if the project was already built and doesn't need to be rebuilt, right? And it seems that this is the better solution. Let's see in the BSP console how this looks like. So I would need to figure out how to reuse the build manager, and if it has to be reused or if it has to be created for each test request, and not test request, like compile request. so this is something which is not printed properly. We could try to fix this. This should be already enough. Could also use here just something like this. And here the same. So it's more consistent. Here we could use build build target. Not 6. Building targets. It's called. Okay, but this is fine. We just list them like this. It's not pretty, but we'll do it. So actually everywhere where I use restore or build, I could replace it with build manager. Origin ID. So maybe the build manager could be reused, but I would need to set the begin build every time, I guess, because at least for the origin ID, because this is pro request, it differs. And I need to figure out with this deferred build message if I should use it and how should I use that. but I think else I didn't configured any properties here. There's no way to provide them. So the build parameters also. So I could actually do this like that. And you just remove this code here. It seems just more reliable overall. Initialize manager. Get initialize result. Request context. Just think about where to put the build manager. Should be kept somewhere central, maybe as an extra service, so that I could reuse the instance of it. I'm not quite sure how intended to be used. So what happens if we try to build, let's say, an IO driver CS project? So okay, I have somehow to release it again, I guess. Group manager. Can I do a using here? Just like this. Because I think somehow it helps internally some cache or something. So when I don't reuse the same instance, that it somehow is blocking further builds. It's BSP restart. Then rebuild solution. And after that we try to build a single project. Cannot dispose the button because it's not idle. Come on, right? Does this disappear? This should actually not disappear. because it's not idle. Cannot be complete because it's already in progress. But maybe just to test it out, we could create this one. Like private read only static. Because the class is not static. This record structure is member declaration. What? Oh yeah, sure. Build manager. So like this, we could have it here. This. And let's rebuild and see. Tip tip. PSP restart. So this looks okay. And then if we say we wanna build this standard IO driver stuff, let's just search for driver. This one. Built already in Pro. What? Do we have to somehow close it afterwards? Build manager. Begin. And build. What? And the build manager may clean up. And build. Build request begin. And allows the user to perform asynchronous execution or access the submission ID prior to executing the request. Yeah, let's try it like this. PSP restart. Oops. Okay. Now driver stuff. So now this works. So we have to say and build. So that we can reuse the build manager. Now let's see if we can clean up the solution. So here I would actually need to do the same stuff. So using the build manager there. But I guess it would make sense to refactor this out into central service where we keep this instance alive, like this build manager instance. What we could do, build initialize manager. Let's see actually where we do the clean cache. Let's do the changes here. We have also the initialize manager, right? So we could reuse this one. And put the build manager in there. Or I could create a completely new service. Let's add the build manager in here. Close build manager. Right. And it's over Post. Here we add all the services. Let's add the singleton here. Is the build manager, right? And we do this part here, like this. Should be okay for now. Just need to add the reference, I guess. Come on. With execution. So now we should be able to just reference the build manager. Does it have interface or something? But I don't think we need any abstraction for now. Just using the original build manager class should be fine for now. So then we can just add the build manager. Build manager, right? Clean. So this part could be also completely removed. Apart from here. It's all the same. I just copy paste most of the stuff here for now, but I think it could be refactored so that we don't have to repeat ourselves that much here. And then just copy this part. Tap. This is not needed. And here, clean cache parameters targets. Clean cache parameters. Does not have origin ID, so it's null here. That's the same, that's the same. That's the same. Just putting this here. Cleaned, not cleaned as a message. And clean result. Let's rename this one to graph clean result. This one is then also clean result, right? And because we don't do a for each here, we could just remove this one completely and set the result directly here. And set this one to clean. And we should be fine. So let's see how this works out. Okay, we have errand BSP lock. System cannot find the file specified. Oh, sure, yeah. I cannot register it there directly. because it is registered here on initialize. Only after we did this, we could actually use the build manager. Set initialize params. Initialize. But initialize manager. So let's move this part then directly there. Not sure if this is the proper place for now. Public build manager, get build manager like this, and we would just do return that's here, this, add it here. And then remove the build manager from there. And we get it from the initialize manager then. So our build manager and initialize manager, get build manager like this. So this we can copy paste in here like this, and actually remove this part from there. Construction unnecessary. Okay, and we can remove it. It's unnecessary now. Okay, restart. This looks better now. The solution. Okay. And clean the solution. And rebuild again. Oh, yeah, I forgot. In the clean cache, we do a begin build, but we don't actually say build manager and build, right? We had this issue before, so this should be it. PSP restart. So, okay, then we clean the solution. Nice, and rebuild it again. So looks good. Now, let's do actually .NET test here. If our tests still pass. Looks good. Then I guess we should change any of those here to be actually using build manager on target. And this would be also better if we would use the initialize manager here. So this is more complex here because I added here launch profile support. And it's based on projects here. I need to read it again. Not sure if this is easy to move to build manager. Yeah, I think this needs more a closer look here. More testing also, if this works. I'm also not sure if this even works because I had the issue that you have to do the restore and the build in different requests. They have to be separated because if you do the build, restore and build in one go here, there are some files not available after the restore. It's a strange thing, but I saw it somewhere mentioning that this should be done in 2 steps. So build the restore target and then here build the build target. Test case discovery is also one that I would need to change. But I guess I don't have to do this all at once, so I could also introduce the change here for the clean and compile handlers. Then we have already the benefit with a faster build because we don't have to start the builds for the projects. It looked at least faster from the log messages that we, or from the notification messages that we saw before. And it looks also more cleaner from the notification perspective there. Build target source paths sources item. So I don't remember anymore what I had there. GitHub. I could actually implement that, I guess. Let me just unstage this. And there is target sources handler. Just did this. And target sources handler, right? And just to handle solution files, we just need to do this. And say here we have the target files, which is already a string. We don't need the toString here. And I also don't need it here. And don't need it here. Or we may need it there. No. So, but then we have to add here build target identifier. URI. Guten Abend, Scruff. Yeah, this is pretty late. I'm Linuxing again, yes. Yes, I have to do my 3D printer build stuff on hold for now because I'm fighting with Acer filament. Because for the printed parts for the Voron, I actually need ABS or Acer filament because it should be durable. Yeah, just hold longer and stuff like that. And it's actually quite, yeah, it's much harder to print with ABS or Acer than with PLA. So I have to prepare some more stuff and experiment a little bit till I get the files, till I get the printed, yeah, the printed parts. Did you, the last stream I did, you were there, right? Where I built the 3D printer, or started to build the 3D printer, aren't you? Yeah. Yeah, that's currently on hold because of this the issues I mentioned right now. But a good thing is here at the other project here for .NET BSP, at that stream I achieved quite a lot. Couple of improvements there. It seems like a better or more reliable way to build the project, or to do different like targets here, like build and clean and stuff. Yeah. URI. How did I call this fix? URI fixer. URI fixer. Doing stuff like this now. Right. Here URI. Target. Let's rename it afterwards. Like this. This should do it. And rename this one maybe to target file. Okay. So let's do .NET Test again. So nice. This worked. And now we need to restart here and see in the console if we get all the documents. Yeah, this looks good. So I guess we can push these changes here. Nope, not that changes. This changes here. So this should work. Also with solution files then. Bup. Or build target so similar. Push this there. Then we can merge this actually. And when this is through, we could create a new branch from main. Let's call it feature. Build manager. Is it feature? It's called refactor. It's better, I think. So, and then we could put this in there. Yeah. Refactor to use build manager. Use build manager. Come on. What's wrong here? Failed. And failed. So the .NET BSP project could be this part. Switch to our target sources stuff here. Please build. Let's see if this helps. I think it should. It's a draft here, right? Now. Wish me luck, Craft. Come on. The located assembly manifest definition does not match the assembly reference. Why is that? Let me build it again locally and test it. Microsoft dependency model. Locate the assembly's manifest definition does not match the assembly reference. So different instances found on the system. Graph build. So locally it succeeds. That's weird. And here it fails. Okay, the assembly's manifest definition does not match the assembly reference. Everything with locked mode. Yeah. So how is it in Germania? It's fine, actually. Depending on what you exactly mean. So I think this is it for today. I will investigate build errors the next time, because I think it could take longer. It has something to do with different SDKs and runtimes, as it seems here. Wait, maybe if we stash that stuff and pulling the main, going back here and merge the main in. Not sure if this makes a difference. Also, okay, no. It was already on the latest main. What's the latest SDK? 9. Net SDK. 306. Which version do I have locally? So that's why I pinned it there. There is no update available for Fedora to this new SSDK, as it seems. So this tries to load the assembly Microsoft extensions dependency model. Oh, that's the wrong one. Here. Should I update to the latest? That work? Hey, Jotro Rocks. Hi. Welcome to the stream. that's actually not that wild, because .NET with .NET Core, it works pretty good on Linux because it's pretty heavily also used in cloud native environments. Like many .NET developers deploy their services like in Kubernetes clusters and like in containerized environments. And .NET works pretty good cross-platform for like last 5 years or something like that. Because many people still think about .NET like this Visual Studio heavy dependent big framework. Yeah, I think most of people also think about the full framework and not about the .NET Core or the newest version of the .NET SDKs. But yeah, here we are. I actually develop also on my daily work with neovim .NET services. Doesn't .NET Core also compiles to native, or does it still bundle the VM? Yeah, it compiles down to this intermediate language, if you mean that. And yeah, there is kind of a VM that interprets that to actually get this cross compatibility. But there are ahead of time compilation targets, or how to say that, you can compile it ahead of time for a specific platform, but I don't think that is possible for ASP.NET. But if you write a CLI command with .NET, then you could do that, definitely. You need just to really look what you are using on libraries and stuff. If you use pretty heavy reflection, then it could be a problem, but else it should work. Yeah, you can do that. So, but like ASP.NET is heavily using reflection, and this is not that easy to ahead of time compile with reflection. Ja, ich kann auch auf Deutsch antworten. Aber im Prinzip, habe ich alles schon gesagt. Ja. Du kannst beides, also standardmäßig kompilierst du halt auf diese Intermediate Language. Aber ja, du kannst ahead of time compilen. Funktioniert halt nicht überall. Ich habe es tatsächlich auch nicht wirklich ausprobiert. Wir haben bis jetzt keine Use Cases für das. Für uns reicht es meistens tatsächlich ganz normal zu kompilieren, also to Intermediate Language und dann .NET Runtime zu verwenden. Hello, I'm astonished you work on .NET while being in open source. Hi Processor, hi, welcome to the stream. Thank you for the kind words. Yeah, I'm Jetro Rocks. Yeah, I'm just speaking most of the time English because I can also practice better to explain myself in English. that's kind of a second goal for the streaming, or why I'm streaming. First time here, by the way. Yeah, then welcome, iProcessor. So welcome to the stream. Glad you're here. My OS is Fedora, Atomic, and this is actually Silverblue. And for the VM, I use Sway VM. Yeah, it's kinda a free clone, but it is Wayland native. So if you want something future-proof, I would say, because I think like X11 is just dying out. I think everyone goes Wayland nowadays. So Sway VM is a really good alternative, I think. It works pretty well. And I like this declarative way. So you have just one file where you define how it should be behaving and how you like to set up your environment, and then you just can copy it or like save it up in your dot files and restore your whole configuration just with one file. It's just nice, and it's feels pretty similar how neovim does that. So it's I like this approach to have it declarative in one or a couple of files. Good, learn by doing. Keep talking. Don't be afraid. Thanks for the information, appreciated. But isn't X Libre now starting to get traction? Yeah, I heard about that, but for me it's just I don't see the value in it, actually. I think everyone now goes Wayland and it works pretty fine for me. Don't see the reason to actually go back. Yeah, also Cosmic OS, right? Jetrox, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Yeah, everyone goes Wayland nowadays, and I think it feels like X11 is just abandoned, even if there is X Libre traction. Yeah, I actually wanted just to close the stream because it's also late on my side, so I will go to sleep too. But yeah, welcome to look over to the next stream or like joining next streams. And yeah, would be glad if you look into my streams from time to time so we can talk. Good night, see you, Chatrarox. Yeah, so I wanted just to do one thing before I finish my stream. Right, we wanted to see if outdated actually can upgrade some of the dependencies. So for this one, I'm not sure if I want to upgrade. I think there are breaking changes in there, but for the rest we could upgrade, right? We just need to set it back for the command line. So, okay. Packages, props. Here. And command line. So, and now let's build again. And test. In the meantime, we can check that in already. Or at least stage it. If the tests are successful, then we could try to push it. So let's block this guy. And buy. Fix or sure bump the dependencies. Let's see if this resolves the build issue that I have here. So I hope so. Then we could merge this PR. iProcessor. I don't know if you saw that. I just created a pull request for using Build Manager now in .NET BSP, which is pretty nice because it resolves some of the notification issues that I had, and it seems more reliable to use it for the whole build, clean, and restore processes here. Yes, it worked. So when Windows plays along here, then we could merge it. So it'd be nice because then we achieved quite a lot in that stream. And I could go to bed with a good feeling. The Windows builds take really long. So that's interesting that .NET is building much faster on Linux than it does on Windows. Kind of funny, right? So merge this one. And oops, that's the wrong one. That's actually main bullet let's go to this refactor, merge the main, push it. And for this, let's put it ready to review. And when the test pass here also, then we merge it also in. And I would do further refactorings for the other handlers, just in follow-up streams. Nice, this one passed. So I should definitely resolve these warnings here. So then the plan would be, after refactor further for build manager, come on. What's wrong here? Oh, I guess it takes longer. Can I rerun build jobs? Yeah. This one. Yeah, sometimes the Windows runners take much longer than I expect in the tests. And therefore they fail. Kind of flaky tests. But this is also another thing that is strange, that just for the Linux clients, it's much faster in executing the code than it does for Windows. So even in the specific test where I just say it should not take longer than, I don't know, 6-8 seconds or something, on Linux it works just fine, always, actually. And on Windows sometimes it takes longer than the expected time. And yeah. And sometimes it fails for that reason. So now it builds. Tests. So now we need to pray for the Windows gods that the Windows runners that we got here are maybe faster than the previous one. No. Yes. So let's merge this. Nice. So I think that's it for today. Thanks for watching and see you in the next